Hello, my lovely individuals. I'm Kostego, and today we're going to be doing a smaller project because I'm preparing for something bigger that I've been talking about for a while, so you probably figured out what it is. But in one of my shorts, I made this tiny little rainbow coaster, and I want to make more stuff like that. More little mug rug coaster situations, because I think it'd be cute. And I got some small scraps of punch needle stuff left, so try to use it up. So, yeah. Let's get into it.
Sorry about the intro, the fan seemed like it was going, but I got the thin monk's cloth kind of material and wrapped it around all three of the frames. I need to figure out how to do that process better because it is definitely not my strong suit. Once I got all three of the sizes figured out, I started sketching out what I would like to do for them. And I decided on making all three of them video game themed. We're going with my favorite, Danganronpa, Pokémon, and Zelda. I love Zelda, and I've definitely indulged in some Pokémon over the years for sure. For Danganronpa, I decided to do the original mascot, Monokuma, who, if you know anything about Danganronpa, is a very iconic character. And I think it turned out pretty decent. I forgot to film drawing the other ones, so we're gonna get right back into stabbing our Monokuma. And my lovely boys were super interested in the situation, so I had to kick them out of the room because they would just not leave the metal piece alone. All Trinity wants to do is chew on metal stuff. I don't know how to get him to stop doing that. Years ago, I found some pretty punch needle thread, and I have been using it for a lot of these smaller punch needle projects. The red and the colors and the rest of them are from the Pretty Punch catalog. I believe they went out of business years ago, or you just can't find them anymore. It's like such high quality though. I wish there was more of it around. But you can only get it for like pretty expensive on resellers and such. Now that I'm looking at Monokuma's little snoot, you know it would be so cute to make all three of my boys into little coasters. Maybe that would be another project. I would absolutely love that. I should have did his teeth in kind of segmented fashion, because it's really hard to fill in a tiny gap with a different color without messing up everything royally, but I think it turned out decent, but still a little bit mixed. But, you know, practice is perfect. When you bump one of the threads with the needle as you're making more of the loops, that's what pulls it out, and that's what I'm snipping off. So it's like you almost need to go straight, but also kind of at an angle so you don't hit one of your old loops. And you almost need to either start from the center and go out, or start from one side and go to the other, because it's just kind of, you just end up poking your own work too much, and it does suck, but it is what it is. I've been using bookbinding glue to bind together these creations just because I have it on hand and it's flexible, so it works pretty good. And then I decided to do the small one next, which will be the Pokeball. And sadly, my three little chaos kittens caused tragedy right whenever I started this. I should have filmed it, but I didn't think about it in the moment. But yeah, I have a giant container of buttons that they spread all over the floor because they were playing around and knocked it over. So I had to spend probably a good hour cleaning up after them. And it is what it is. That's what you get when you get 3 orange cats, I suppose. And with that, the Pokeball is already done, and we're on to Zelda. I made the Triforce, but I decided to put in the symbols each one represents. I started with the top with Din, and it was a really good excuse to use that glittery thread that I had around, because it's like, what do you do with glittery thread? Oh, make the Triforce. And I decided to make it a 3 color variegated colors that they represent, just to kind of give it some dimension. And I decided to start in the center with a lighter color and then bridge to darker colors, and it used up some of the variety that I had of that vintage punch needle thread. Once we're done with Power, or Din, we move on to Courage, or Feor. I really like that symbol. It's kind of like a circle with 2 moons around it. And then the third one, Nehru, is kind of like 3 moons stuck together with circles in the middle, and I just think they look really cool together. If you don't know anything about Zelda, you probably have no idea what this is, but if you do know things about Zelda, it's really cool. I really like how this one turned out just for the concept of it, but I almost wish I could do it bigger. Well, I guess I have a bigger loop, but I don't want it that big. But I think it would be cool bigger because you can actually get more detail into the symbols and stuff. And I don't know, maybe I'll try it again in a bigger scale, maybe with bigger yarn. Then I kinda kept an eye on it and kept on trimming it as I went because still definitely not perfect with this new craft that I'm learning. This is only, what, the 3rd rug that I've made with small punch needle? Once I felt like it was trimmed enough, I started the black in the center. Sometimes when you see this symbol, you actually see the Triforce symbol in the middle of the Triforce, but I just felt with the small punch needle I couldn't successfully make it look good. So that would be a good idea if I decide to make it bigger. Maybe I will do that. That's a good idea. Do they make like a golden, like actually glittery golden yarn that you could use with like a tufting gun? Food for thought, I suppose. I got a million projects bumping around in my brain. But yeah, we give it a good trim and then glue that baby up. Same as we did with Monokuma. Now it's time to take them out of their frames. That's why I glued them beforehand, because I didn't want them to accidentally, like, deform or whatever, putting the glue on. I trimmed off the excess and took a small pair of scissors and tried to cut as close as possible instead of tucking it under, because it looks a little bit too thick when you tuck it under, but cutting it really close, you still kind of see it, so I'm not exactly sure what the best method for that would be, but it is what it is. It's still cute. I think out of all the Monokuma is my favorite, but just because I'm very partial to Monokuma. The Triforce didn't turn out as cute as I wanted it to be, and the Pokeball was just kind of something quick and easy just to get 3 on here. I managed to use one piece of felt to glue them all, and I used the Fabri-Tac permanent adhesive to glue them on there. And that was like the hardest bottle I've ever had to squeeze. And I know I've had this bottle for years, but oh my god, I don't remember it ever being that thick to squeeze out. But once I got them all glued up, we slapped them on there and then cut them out again. And with that, our project is finished.
Obviously this was like a casual project, but I truly love it. It's so cute. I like making the little mug rugs, so I'll probably do it again at some point. But yeah, I really love Monokuma. I think the Triforce ended up a little bit weird looking, but it's still cute. If you know what it is, you know what it is kind of thing. But yeah, if you like this, please comment, like, subscribe. As you know, it always helps out. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye!